So you have to identify which class of vertebrates is this. So there are five classes of vertebrates. Can you name them? Fish, birds, and us. What about us? Ma- mammals. Okay. So let's identify. So first of all, they classify it with fins and fins and gills, and without fins and gills. So which animals are with fins and gills? That would be your A, fish. So we will write fish here. Okay, what about B? B is the one without gills, and it lay eggs with shells, and they have feathers. Okay, and that do not have feathers but lay eggs with shells, reptiles. And what would be D and E? Would be amphibians, correct. Okay. Next one is a virus is a type of pathogen. Identify. Okay, virus has only two components. It is considered as non-living. Why it is considered as non-living? Okay. Okay, correct. So don't say the word active. Use the scientific terms. It cannot reproduce. Okay, or excrete or grow. These are the words that we use to define the characteristics of all living organisms. So we have to tell few characteristics that they cannot reproduce, excrete, or grow without their host cells. Okay. Okay, so it has only two components. One is protein coat, and the second one is, yes, DNA or RNA. So generally we say it's a genetic material. Okay, what is F now? Protein coat. Okay. Identify one component of a virus which is not shown over here. हाँ, genetic material, DNA, RNA, all are correct. ठीक है? मैंने genetic material, I have written it for like a general term, like for generic. Okay, list two of the human body barriers to the entry of pathogens. Okay, what's in there? Be specific. Okay, ciliated cells are present in bronchi. Okay, let's say cilia and skin. Okay, these are the physical one. What are the chemical barriers? Okay, no, it would be physical. Yes, yes, they are your chemical barriers. Okay, if a virus is able to pass through the body's barrier, an immune response take place, and antibodies are produced during this immune response. What are antibodies? What are they made up of? Okay, and proteins are made up of? Okay, and what are the elements of amino acids? Oxygen and nitrogen. It's better to write the full name instead of writing the symbols. Okay, these are the common mistakes that students usually make because teachers taught them like this. But we need to write the full name. Okay. Okay, next one is explain how the structure and function of antibody molecule are important in an immune response. Like why the structure is so important for its functioning. Sorry. Wait. Phagocytes are not involved in production of antibody. Antibodies are produced by lymphocytes. So, okay, they are complementary to the antigen. You have to explain this point. This is the main point in the answer of this one. You have to start with this, that each pathogen has a specific antigen which is recognized by the antibody, okay, or and these antigens or antibodies are complementary or complement have a complementary shape to the antigens, okay, and they bind. Okay, what happened after binding? Pathogen, how? Yes, destroy. Basically, there is chemical reaction, not a toxin one. Okay, they release a chemical. Okay, then it's divided into different components. Okay, and these components can be engulfed by phagocytes. So these are your 5 points that you need to write. Okay, if you miss any one of this, your marks would be deducted. Clear? So after writing an answer, just calculate whether you have written all the points or all the required things, and they should be different from each other. They shouldn't be same. Like you cannot rephrase your sentence again and again to complete 5 points. Okay? So all five. Okay. No, no, no. Okay, the average length of pregnancy in human adults is 40 weeks. A human mother may give birth to her baby before the end of usual length of pregnancy. This is called as premature birth. Explain why babies born prematurely are at higher risk of developing some infectious diseases than babies born after 40 weeks of pregnancy. So it is related to passive immunity basically, because passive immunity is transferred from mother to baby. Okay, now tell, what if? Okay, how do you say immature? Immature. Okay, rephrase this. Not well developed. Good. And how they need to develop the immune system? Okay, lesser antibodies transfer from placenta to mother. Okay, antibodies, because they are entirely relying on the mother's antibodies, are transferred to baby from mother, and the mode of transfer is placenta, right? And all the nutrients, exchange of gases, everything is done through placenta. Okay, so just one action that a mother can take to protect her premature baby from infection after few months. Okay, breastfeeding, correct. So the antibodies would also pass through milk. Okay, next question. Okay, this is an easy question because options are given. Use words from the list to complete the paragraph. Glucose is transported in solution by the component of blood called plasma. If the concentration of glucose in the blood increases above normal, the hormone dash is released. Wait, okay. Let's discuss this. Pancreas produce two hormones. One is insulin, other is glucagon. So when we eat some meal, so the glucose concentration is really high. Okay? And that high concentration is controlled by insulin and it get lowered. So the person or the people who have diabetes, they do not have insulin. That's why their sugar level rises uh, above the normal value when they take a meal. So they need to take some. like take some insulin externally. Okay, so insulin is the one which is released when glucose is increased. Okay, so here it would be insulin. Okay, and glucagon is released when you are fasting. Mean there is not enough glucose, so glucagon is going to convert glycogen to glycogen to glucose. So your body glucose level would be maintained. Okay, okay, so insulin is released into the body by an dash gland. It's the word "an" written. Endocrine gland. So if it's written, then you can write pancreas, but it's clearly written it's an endocrine. Okay, what is the difference between endocrine and the nervous system? Good. To electrical impulses. Okay. And the response of, what about response? Yeah. Will it be quick or slow? Slow in case of endocrine and fast in case of. Okay. And what about their lifespan or the living span? It would be short lived in case short lived is nervous system and in endocrine. Okay. Okay. Endocrine gland, and the name of gland is pancreas. We have already discussed. Okay, this hormone promote the removal of glucose from the blood and its conversion into a chemical called glycogen. Okay, what type of blood is this? It's a biconcave red blood cell. Okay, let's talk about the adaptation because this one is also important. Okay, how is red blood cells adapted? Like, what is special in its structure that make it fit for its function? Biconcave shape. Good. Fold when passing through the capillaries. Okay. Why it's flexible? Now you're missing a very important point over here. Why it's flexible? Okay. It's not about vasoconstriction and dilation. It's about the size of capillary is so small that it has to be folded. Okay. What makes it flexible? Okay. What structure? That is adaptation. That is absence of nucleus. Okay. This is absence of okay, so you need to remember these points because okay, what will happen if this red blood cell is not in the right shape, like sickle cell anemia? Okay, it cannot carry enough oxygen. Okay, if it's a 5 mark question, how are you going to answer? Enough oxygen, not hemoglobin. Okay. 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 Okay, wait. Yeah. But it's a 5 mark question, it's not a 1 mark question. Yeah, there is a question. It's a question of past paper, that's why I'm asking. Okay. But it's already sickled. The size is too small. Okay. Okay. Listen. Okay. Since you don't know how to answer it, listen. There is one thing called interrelation of concepts. Okay? In bio we follow it a lot. We have to relate the concepts. Okay, since you have mentioned the oxygen, what is the role of oxygen? Shift to that. Okay? Exactly. So you would say there would be lesser aerobic respiration, so there would be lesser production of energy. The person would have fatigue. There would or the tiring muscles. So you need to expand it. Okay. So biology is different as compared to other sciences because you have to relate the concepts. It's not about a single concept. You have to relate many chapters. Okay. So next time I hope you are going to answer accordingly. Okay. In if the concentration of glucose in the blood increases above the normal. Okay, why I'm underlining certain words because these are the important keywords of a question. And while attempting the question, always underline the keyword so that you'll be able to know what you need to write. Okay, we have a question. Okay. In the blood increases above normal and is not controlled, this can result to change to some cell of this type, like red blood cells. First of all, they lose their specialized shape, they become less flexible, and they stick together. Now you have to suggest, the one point would be of suggestion, and the second point would be of explanation according to these. Okay. If they lose their specialized shape. Good. Okay, wait. Since they have given you 3 points, stick to these points. Not good. Okay. Okay. So the shape has a shape discussed? No. We have discussed the flexibility, we have discussed the sticking. What about the shape? If the shape is not biconcave, what would happen? Yes, yes. Correct. Correct. Okay. Good. Next one is related to eye. Okay. Now, this one is a tougher topic for you, I guess, since you have told me that you have difficulty in this topic. Okay, this topic is known as accommodation basically. Like, how is your eye accommodate itself or accommodate the size of lens basically. Okay, so yes, the size of lens can be changed. Why people wear glasses? Okay, okay. Okay, why they're short-sighted? Okay, you have this topic in physics as well. Why they're short-sighted or far-sighted? Because the shape of lens has been changed, right? So to fix that shape and the path of the lens, you put on glasses. Okay, now how naturally or in a natural way your eyes are adjusted to it? I'm talking about a normal person, not the one who's wearing glasses. Okay, if you retina. Okay, okay. Now, correct. Okay. Now you are looking at a far object. Okay. So your lens has to capture more light so that you get the image of that whole thing that is quite far. While if the object is quite near to you, there is a lot of light and your lens would get thicker. Okay, so let's talk about the thickness because here it's written most curved and less curved. Okay, most curved means it's thick and less curved mean it's thin. Okay? So keep in mind, whenever we are like looking at the far objects, it would be thin, and if we look at the close objects, it would be thick. Okay? Because our eye has to get shortened. You just like, I'm giving you a concept, it doesn't happen, but I'm giving you just a way to learn it. Okay? Because the thing is too close to you, so you have to shorten your eye size to read that thing. Okay? So let's put this in order. What would be length if you are reading the book, or if you are reading something on the wall, or if you look out of the window? Which would have the highest thickness? Wait, wait. When it's thick, when it's near. Okay, far is thin. The thing may look fat when it's close and may look slim when it's far. Okay, learn it like this. Okay, so when it would be thick, when it's near or far? Near. So which is the nearest point, P, Q, or R? P. So they have asked you the question that you have to identify the order and place them in the correct order. So our this term is P. When would it be thinnest? Window. So this one is R, and this one when it has a medium thickness. So it won't be that far, it won't be that close. Q. Okay. So this is your order. Clear? Okay. Now what changes the thickness? Okay. Let's move here. You are moving from thicker length to the thinner one at point H. They've given you point H where it's getting thin. Okay. So what will happen to your two muscles, and these two muscles are the ciliary muscles and the suspensory ligaments. Okay. So in question, what have they asked? They asked with reference to the named structure, this is one, and how this change happened. Okay. These are the two key points in the question. So the name structure is, one is the ciliary muscles, and the second ones are suspensory ligaments. Okay. Okay. So suspensory ligaments are present at the edges. Okay, let's say if it's a lens, suspensory ligaments are present here. Okay. So they get shortened. They get shortened. So the size of lens would get bigger and thinner. It would become longer and thinner because the suspensory ligaments are contracting. Okay. So the suspensory ligaments would get shortened or tightened. So these are two opposite. If these are tightened, then these will relax. Okay. Just learn one muscle. The functioning of one muscle, the other would be opposite of it. So if something is becoming longer, it means you are pushing it towards the like end. So the suspensory ligaments are becoming smaller. That's why the lens is becoming longer and thinner. Okay. So when you are looking at the like nearby objects, what will happen? These suspensory ligaments relax and become longer. So the lens become thicker. Ciliary muscles shorten. Exactly. Contract. Okay. Got this point now? So just make a story in your mind before attempting a question, that would really help you. Okay. So there are two things. What is this black color thing called, and what is the white part? This the very black color thing. But the very black is pupil. Okay, and the colored part. This is no lens is present somewhere here. What is this colored part, which is brown, blue, black? Iris. Iris is the colored part. Okay. Okay. Now, the question is, do you have any pet? Which great, great, great. If you had cat, have you ever observed that the size of their pupil changes with eye? Okay. What will happen if you put very bright light into the cat's eye? What contract? The pupil. The pupil would contract. So the iris size would remain same here. Oh, sorry. I've gone out of the eye. So it would be like this, and the size of pupil would be small. Okay. Okay, state the type of nervous response which actually shows you that your eyes is contracting. It's a rapid response, it's an involuntary response. What is the name of this response? Huh? Okay. Um, so our syllabus has only one response, which is reflex. Okay. It's a rapid involuntary response. So the name is reflex. Okay. Why it is important for a person to change the shape, oh sorry, the size of pupil when the light is too bright? Okay, for the protection of what? Okay, correct, correct, because it's if the size doesn't reduce, then too much light would enter. Okay, and it can damage your cone cells. Okay, what is the difference between cone cells and rod cells? Exactly, correct, correct. And the rod cells, they give you the black and white image basically. So if the light is too intense, or if it has a high light intensity, it can damage our cones, because light is also composed of colors. Okay, now it's about fishing and all. And it's how many marks are there for this question? Oh my god. Let's remove 5 and 3, 8, 8 and 6. Okay, coffee. Okay. What is sustainable resource? Okay, it's a 2 mark question. Define it properly. No. S- Answer it like in a scientific word or in biological. Okay, is it is produced at the same rate it is eliminated from the system. Exactly, is produced as rapidly as removed. Okay, it means the production rate and the removal rate should be same. Now keep this thing in mind, okay? They won't accept the other terms. They would accept these terms only. Okay, the government of the country decided to set fishing quota. Okay, so we have different fishing quotas. What can they be? Because they asked us about the quotas. What are different fishing quotas? It's an important question, by the way. It has been repeated many times. Okay, okay. So so it would be like seasonal, right? There would be seasons for fishing. Okay, then this is one. Wait, wait. That is designed to protect the species, but how? What are the methods? Number one is yes, seasons. Number two, Yes. Nets, good. The size of net. So, okay, what is the advantage of using, oh, okay, or by choosing a size? So we have to choose a certain size so that the smaller fishes do not get captured and they can grow and reproduce in future. Okay, so we do not have to catch the smaller fish but only the larger fish. Okay, this is about the net size. Okay, what other thing can be done? Like there's so many. What other thing can be done? Educating the people. Okay. Okay. Uh, no. No. That is related to geography and other things. Okay. Close seasons, okay. Exactly, exactly. It shouldn't be done in the breeding seasons. That is a closed season basically. Closed seasons mean the breeding in breeding season it's not allowed. Okay. Then as you have told that only certain areas are allowed for fishing, not all the areas are allowed. Certain type of net size of net would be chosen, and education is important, and fifth one is to monitor whether these laws or the quotas are applied or implemented or not. Okay, because these are the points where you have to tell that how can we conserve it, so you have to give any two methods. Okay. Okay, next one is the question is the government of the country decided to set fishing quota for herring fish between this one, and they've given us a graph. So 5.1 shows the maximum number of tons of herring that quota allowed to be caught each year, and we can see that each year the quota system has been reduced. So why? Okay, describe the trend. They haven't asked about the. Okay, they have asked about the explanation. Describe the trend and the explanation. Mean you have to give values. Okay, description mean you have to quote the values from graph. This is in every case, like in all type of graphs, whether it's related to photosynthesis, whether it's related to population, whether it's related to anything, enzyme activity or anything. Description mean you have to quote the numbers that are given in the graph, and explanation mean you have to give reasons. Okay. Okay. Good. Okay, from 33,000 tons to, okay, to 2,500 tons. Okay. Okay, so you have given the 2 points for description. Now give, okay, it's a 4 mark since I have erased it by mistake. Okay, what is the explanation? Why they have reduced it? Good. Good. Uh, no, that is not an explanation. This is like the result. Okay, this is the result, not explanation that why they have done it. Okay, overfishing is correct. Okay, before sustainable, do some or like explain something. How they become sustainable? Because they have enough time to interbreed. Okay, exactly, exactly. Explain that and then quote that it would become sustainable. Okay. Hmm. Increase. Oh, good, good. Yes, good. Okay, fish are good source of lipids in the form of fish oil. Okay, now you have two setups. One is with bile and other is with bile and lipase. But before going to the question, let me ask you, what is the function of bile? Okay, what is the meaning of emulsifies? Into smaller droplets. Okay, is it a physical digestion or a chemical digestion? No, it's a physical digestion. Physical mean nothing new is formed. Only is it's converting from bigger to smaller droplets. Okay, so it's a physical digestion. First thing. Okay, and the what is the function of lipase? Transfer. Transfer, is transfer the correct word? Converts. Okay, so we need to look on our words while we are writing the answer because this can have negative impact on our answer. Okay, though you know the answers, but the writing correct part is missing. Okay, now what do you think in which there would be more digestion? I'm just asking a random question. It's not related to the question, or maybe related to the question, but I'm asking just for general knowledge. What do you think? In which one of the test tube would be their digestion? Exactly, because in first one there is no lipase. So the lipids are converted into the smaller droplets, but they are not converted chemically. Okay. Okay, the student recorded the pH of the contents of each test tube using a digital pH meter at the start of experiment. Both have 8 pH. Okay, why 8? Okay, which part of the alimentary canal has a pH 8? Yes, small intestine. What is the optimum pH in mouth? 7. Okay, what is it in stomach? Good. Okay. Now, the students continue to monitor the pH reading for 30 minutes and use your knowledge of how lipids are digested to explain what would happen to each test tube. What would happen to the pH of this test tube number 1, and what would happen to the pH of test tube number 2. Okay? So, what do you think? Would the pH change in test tube number 1? No. Since there is no digestion, so the pH would remain same. How much marks? Okay, 5 marks. That's it. The pH would remain same. Okay, what else happened? Emulsify part. Just explain the emulsify part. The okay, good. No chemical digestion. Okay, okay. What is the purpose of physical digestion? Good. So let's write it since we do not have any other point. So there is increased surface area. Okay, so nothing happens. What would happen in 2? Okay, into fatty acids. So basically fatty acids, which are basically carboxylic acids, are decreasing the pH into fatty acid and glycerol. So the pH would decrease. Okay, decrease because of, let's write it, fatty acids. Okay, glycerol is not affecting the pH but the fatty acids, so we need to mention. Okay. Uh, Farmer in many countries, including the USA, keep cows to produce milk. Okay, that is used for human consumption. Over the last 60 years, they have given you data. Okay, so you have to tell between the years 1970 to 2010, there are always 250 cows. Use the data in table 6.1 to calculate the increase in milk production by 200 cows. Okay, this calculation is bit tough. Okay, subtract. Okay. Okay. Um, it's better to write two decimal places. Okay, give me two decimal places. Okay, 1.23. Okay, use this. Okay, one reason for the pattern shown in the data is used by the farmer artificial selection. This is an example of selective breeding. What is the process of selective breeding? Same wording in every like select cows with wait. Use the same wording as is used by the question. So what we are choosing? We are choosing cows which produce more milk. So select cows with increased milk production. Okay, then these are okay. Okay, good. Okay, now the few words need correction. Number one, these cows are crossbreed. Crossbreed. Okay. Second word that you have missed, that the offsprings produced by this crossbreeding would also be selected. Okay, we would select the offspring which have more, because this is the first generation offspring with more milk production, and this interbreeding is repeated over several generations. That you have said, that was correct. Breeding done over several generation to acquire the desired result. What you said, I totally forget. Okay. Okay, correct. So this question is basically repeated many times and the same wording has been used. You have to use the same wording in every case. Just change the characteristic. That is the main point. According to the question, change that desired character. Okay? Okay. Before we start with this next part, keep in mind bio is more about the solving technique than knowledge. Okay, sometimes students do not have that much knowledge like or the explanation to write in answer, but they know how to write an answer. And the very first thing that we need to keep in mind, we need to focus on the question. Just underline the important words, that these words are important. I have to use these words in the answer as well. Okay, that will really help you to get good marks. Okay. Okay, research has been said that 95% cows used to produce milk in USA are fed crop plant that have been produced by genetic modification. The crops have been produced to provide the cows that eat them with additional vitamins. Okay, the genetic modification is they have more vitamins. Okay, outline the stages of genetic modification used to produce these crops. Now let's move to genetic modification. How is genetic engineering done? Good. Okay, why are they used? Tell me separately. Okay. The design is inserted in plasmid with the help of ligase, and then we put it in the vector, then insert it into vector to produce copies. Okay, what do you mean by कि हम उसमें sticky ends लगाते हैं? Okay. स्टिकी एंड्स लगाते नहीं है, स्टिकी एंड्स बन जाते हैं. स्टिकी एंड्स होते हैं जहां से उसकी बॉन्डिंग होनी है. ठीक है, लाइक हमें पता है कि ए के ऑपोजिट जी लगना है और टी लगना है और सी के ऑपोजिट जी लगना है. ठीक है, दैट इज स्टिकी एंड. कि ऐसे एंड्स होंगे जो एक दूसरे के कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री होंगे ताकि वो वहां बॉन्डिंग हो सके. ठीक है. ओके. Now outline two potential of risk. Okay. Risk, yeah, let's move to the risk. Genetic modification has been used to change crop plant in other ways. One example is that production of crop plant that contain a chemical to make them resistant to insect pest. Okay, what is the risk of if there is a resistance to insect pest? Hmm. And that is the ultimate answer. Okay, but how? Okay. Okay, wait. Let's move to this term, insect and pest. If they become resistant to insect or pest, if the insect or pest cannot feed on them, what is the ultimate process that stops? If there is no insect, there isn't any pollination. Simple. So if the plant become resistant to insect, the insect may die after eating that chemical, right? So if there is no insect, there won't be any pollination. If there is no pollination, it means there won't be transfer of pollens from one area to another. Okay. Number two, if the insects get killed, it would, okay, biodiversity, as well as it would disturb your food chain. Okay, that could also be written. I'm giving you possible answers. Okay. What else can be done? Uh, okay, they may have adverse effect on other populations as well. Maybe some other plants, some other, sorry, animals, not only insects, some other animals may also get affected when they feed on these crop plants. Okay. Okay, last question. Number one, what is the difference between diffusion and active transport? Okay, the question is about comparing, but here these are separate processes. So whenever there is a word compare, it means you have to give the similarity and differences. Okay, since these are the different processes, also you have to give the differences between these. Okay, what is diffusion? Sorry. Okay, from the region of high concentration to the region of low concentration. Okay. Move what? Move what? Okay, good. So, in active transport, substances or particles move against the concentration gradient. Now, the definition is incomplete. How? By using energy from respiration. Okay. This is the important part of active transport. You cannot miss it. Good. Okay, what is transpiration and what is translocation? Wait, it's not movement, it's not movement. Is the loss of water. It's the loss of water. Oh, from leaves, not xylem. Okay, exactly. A movement of what two substances? Sucrose and amino acids. Sucrose and amino acids. Okay, from source sink. Okay. What is phototropism and gravitropism? Good. Towards or away from gravity? Both are same. So phototropism is the plant growth response towards or away from light, and gravitropism is the plant growth response away or towards the gravity. Okay, this is about this. Now we are done with paper. Okay, I'll be giving you some homework since we don't have. Okay, so I hope you'll be celebrating Eid on Saturday. So if so, there won't be any class then. Okay, if there's no Eid tomorrow, then we're going to have class tomorrow. I'll let you know the timing. Okay. And what you need to do, you have to solve one paper. I'm giving you paper one, that MCQ part, not this one paper. Paper two, I'm giving you paper one of the same variant and same year. 5090 W24 QP 12. Paper one, variant two. You have to solve it, and if you have to send me the answers. Okay. Yeah, it's May, June. No, no, no. It's October, November. It's October, November. Okay. And I'll check it with you. And if something is wrong, I'll explain that. Okay. Please don't take help from anywhere. Just use your current knowledge to solve that. Otherwise, you won't be able to learn if you like keep on opening up the book and look for the answers. You have to use your own knowledge. Don't take help. Okay. 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 See you then.